about just, who I am, talk to you more about, just some of the journey that I've been, had to overcome. And when talking to Ben about what you all have been going through lately and what you've been studying, and talked to me about the fact that you just studied the book of Psalms, which to me means so much, because the book of Psalms was one of the first books that I really dove into when I was first embracing my faith back when I was a youth, trying to figure out meaning to all of this. And there was one psalm that stuck out in particular, actually the first one. So if we want to put that up on the screen. Oh yeah, there's where we're titling it, but we'll come back to that. So yeah, go to the first one for me. So Psalms chapter 1, verse 1. Blessed is those who do not walk in step with the wicked, or stand in the way that sinners take, or sit in the company of mockers. This particular verse always stuck with me. It was one that was drilled into me first when I was a young youth, trying to figure out who I was, trying to discover everything that I'm supposed to be growing up. And this psalm of always walk with this holiness about you. It has been interpreted, and it was interpreted to me at a very young age, is to walk almost holier than thou. To take it upon yourselves to show that Christ's way is the best way, and everyone else should follow in that message. Unfortunately, that way has brought back a lot of hate and persecution. If you can go back to the first slide for me. There's a particular picture here on the bottom left. The artist, David Hayward, also known as Naked Pastor, an incredible artist and a former pastor himself, did this that goes perfectly with this psalm. Love the sinner, but then hiding in the shadow, hate the sinner. When we are talking about the importance of this verse, it is to remember that we are not holier than thou. That we are not supposed to take this pedestal of saying that Christians are better than anyone else. We are meant to remember that we all walk our lives in a unique path. There's a lesson from Buddha, actually, that stands out to me, that says that the path to enlightenment is one that can be taken in many journeys. Buddha actually quantified it as 44,000 different paths to enlightenment that one can take. There is not one single path that is the best way to go. And that very much holds true for all of us. We all have our unique paths, our unique walks and lives. There is no one correct way. And that's a message that lately has needed to be said louder and louder. There is not one correct path. But there is a correct path for you. And that path is the path you take. We can go to the one more. To be like Christ, what should you do? Well, this message has been told to us for so long about how do we be Christ-like, and what do we need to do in order to gain entrance to heaven. I feel like for most of my time growing up in evangelical churches, I was taught this: you want to do this, do this, do this, and you'll get into heaven. That was the end goal. To get into heaven, you had to mark off and complete the checklist, so that way when you died, you got entrance into heaven. Why is that cool? Why is that the end-all, be-all? This idea of I don't want to burn in hell. I want to make sure that I'm living in heaven, so I have to do these so many things in order to get there. Christ taught us that the path to heaven is through him, through his teachings, to embody the message he brought to us. and live our lives that way. Not to have this checklist of things to make sure we accomplish, to be the good Christian and go to church every Sunday. To make sure that we do these certain donations to organizations and we'll be good. No, it's to go out and advocate, to use our voice, to rise above and combat evil. Now, there's a term that has been adopted, unfortunately, from many religious organizations of this combating evil. How do we fight evil? How do we seek out to destroy evil and sin throughout the world? That's not our mission. Our mission is not to go out and pursue evil by seeking to destroy it. Our mission is to show, to walk in faith, to walk in the path of Christ, to demonstrate through our lives what it truly means to be Christ-like. Not being better than someone else, not being holier than someone else, but showing through love, acceptance, and compassion for all, just as Christ did. Next slide, please. Colossians chapter 3, verse 12 and 14. Therefore, as the Creator's chosen people, holy and dearly loved, clothe yourselves with compassion, kindness, humility, gentleness, and patience. Bear with each other and forgive one another, for if any of you has grievance against someone else. Forgive as the Lord forgave you. And over all these virtues, put on love, which binds them together in perfect unity. I think back to a time a couple years ago where my wife and I were standing outside of the Nationwide Arena to go to a Blue Jackets game. And there was a preacher condemning everyone to hell. Everyone was going to hell for going to this Blue Jackets game, but then he saw us. And, well, mind you, the type of person I am, I don't make it easy on anybody. I just go ahead and, show my queerness all over the place. But you could hear him going after us, saying how we are to fear God and we are to respect God and his judgment and his words, and that we are meant to live according to a strict code of ethics and guidelines. I just got exhausted listening to this guy, not because of the hate that he was preaching, but all of the restrictions and the rules. And isn't that what Christ died on the cross for? Isn't that what God wanted us to understand, is that we are not meant to live according to a set of guidebooks and rules and everything. We are meant to live our lives openly with compassion and love and acceptance for each other. Not condemning people and passing judgment on people for the ways they walk their lives. Next slide, please. Resisting evil and not seeking to terminate. So, as I've been saying, we are taught to resist evil. And resisting evil is done through compassion. It's done through the service towards others. It's not done through trying to perform exorcisms against the evil sin of our time. You hear many of these big preachers and the certain politicians out there who want to use the Christian Bible and weaponize it as a reason for why we should condemn people, why we should persecute people, why we should exclude, why we should remove, why we should terminate. Those words do not appear in the Bible. God has never told us once to terminate another because of their identity, because of their race, their beliefs. Christ constantly taught us to surround ourselves with those who are ordinary, who are undesirable, who are broken. That is who Christ surrounded himself with every day. He didn't go and who surround themselves with the holiest of holy people, sitting there and condemning everyone else to an eternity in hell. It was a message of love and acceptance for whoever you are, whatever path you're on, that God's love is there for you. And that's what matters. And you don't have to sacrifice yourself. You don't have to sacrifice your identity in order to achieve God's love. What you do have to do is spread the compassion, the acceptance, and the love of God. Thanks, Paul. So, as I leave you with this, and I know short, quick, to the point, I was told not to make sure I speak forever, because I can if I want to. I will speak forever. Those of you who have seen me talk before know that. These teachings are never meant to be a weapon. Those who seek to destroy with the Bible as a tool are not ones you should be listening to, are not ones you should be following. The Bible is not a sword to be swung. I think of the Bible as an embracing hug, one that welcomes you, surrounds you with warmth, and lets you know that it's going to